Please welcome Graham to the stage as he shares pearls of wisdom of how inspiration can come from anywhere.
If I told you that everybody in this audience is a very creative person who takes place in many creative activities each day, would you believe me? How about this? Have any of you ever tried to write a song? Probably not. A couple people out there. How about choosing what to wear in the morning, or deciding what to eat for lunch, or starting a paper, starting an outline for a TED Talk? Maybe that one's just me. But the point is, I want you to think about that empty space right before you start writing, or whatever you might be doing. Songwriters like to call that writer's block. It's just like right before you're about to start doing something creative, and there's like a blank. You can't think about what you're about to do. And today I'm going to talk about how I get past that, and I'm going to prove to you that inspiration can come from anywhere by showing you how I wrote one of my original songs. I've been playing music in writing songs ever since I was 3 years old, and I've been at Stax Music Academy for about 4 years. I write a lot of music in my free time for Stax and also for my band Above Jupiter, and I'm in 9th grade at Crosstown High. Whenever I try to sit down and write music, though, I have a recurring issue that getting started is always the hardest part. It always seems like I'm sitting, then pacing, then staring at a blank sheet of paper, pacing some more, sitting back down, and that's all to write just the first line of an idea. It takes so much longer to find that inspiration than it does to write the entire rest of the song. So how do we make that inspiration happen? What exactly is it that makes the light bulb light up in our heads to get our idea going? It's a hurdle I've been struggling with, and my solution is to see inspiration in even the smallest moments. Like, you can even find inspiration from nowhere. I wrote my most recent song, Holiday, when I couldn't think of anything to write about, and I was just writing about nothing, just lines that have good rhythm, and they just sound like that. And later in the song, I found a metaphorical meaning that I could use to describe those lyrics. And that's not exclusive to music either. You can find inspiration for like a job you're looking for, or a hobby, or anything else. So just look around and you can find inspiration. And now I am going to walk through how I wrote one of my songs, Holiday, and I'm going to show you my process and how you can find inspiration using that. At that point, I just kind of was writing a cliche verse about nothing, just first words that came to my head, and I was just like almost writing a poem and just putting music behind it. And then in the next part, I just kind of built off of what I already had. A light goes off and I see the truth, but there's nothing more for me to do. I lie and wait for the golden sparrows calling. There's nothing more for me to do. You can see in that verse, it's a little different key. I kind of transposed it, and I was doing a whole different chord progression. But basically, whenever I was writing the lyrics, I noticed that there was some golden decorations on my piano, on the metronome. And I just wanted to incorporate the color gold into the verse, for example. Or also, I noticed that the verse before it was a little bit depressing by nature, talking about like broke down cars and old junkyards and all of that stuff. So I just Googled, to be honest, some animals that represent hope. And I decided that the sparrow was a good animal for that. It fit with the lyrics and it represents hope. And then we have this next part. Years go by in everlasting waiting. I hear the shimmer of something golden. The breeze is cooler than it was yesterday. Holiday. Feel the light of a new horizon. And right there, I just kind of continued to build off of that previous verse. I was, in the previous verse, I talked about how the breeze is cooler than it was yesterday. And now I'm saying it's warmer than it was yesterday. So at that point in the song, I kind of realized I want every chord progression to be different. And I'm going to talk about how every day is different than the last. And so then we move on to this next section. The chaos around me fades away. I see the sunrise another day. And now it's warmer than it was yesterday. It's a holiday. It's a holiday. So there's that line I mentioned about it being warmer than it was the previous day, and I wanted to talk about how every day is different than the last. This is the point in the song where I kind of settled on my theme. I decided this is it. This song is going to be about how every day is different than the last, hence the name Holiday, which represents that. And from then on, honestly, the rest of the song was just building out that same idea, writing how every day is different, creating a whole new verse and chord progression for each part. But I just want to pull out and talk about this one section of the song in particular, because I think it's a pretty good example of how inspiration in your previous experience can influence your writing. And when the winter rolls around, right there, I wanted to pull that part out because I think it's a good example of how you can take your previous experiences and things that people do around the holidays, like, being around the fireplace, hanging with your family, and doing all of that. It's just something that is integral to a song called Holiday, for one thing. I can't write a song called Holiday and not talk about, the wintertime. But also, I just think it's a good example, again, about how you can continue to write about what you've already experienced, as well as pulling inspiration from current times. And then I just kind of finished the song with that same chord progression that I started it with. And that was it. So I hope my experience of creating a song starting off with nothing, where I found inspiration from, nature's colors, family traditions, I hope that taught you that inspiration can be found anywhere. And I'm so happy to share my hidden treasure with you all, and I really hope you took something valuable away. No matter your career path, we all need inspiration to guide us. Whether you're a chef, home designer, painter, engineer, scientist, songwriter, everybody needs to capture creative ideas. Walt Disney says that if you can dream it, you can do it. And I firmly believe that if you get started by looking around, the treasure of inspiration will find you. Thank you.